2 Megapops is an achievement in Balloons Tower Defense 6 where you need to get 2 million or more pops with a single tower in particular. Today we're going to be doing this with the big one. So yeah, let's get cracking with our submarine, which will help us out in the long run when it comes to be able to get our artillery on the field, because you only start with 650 and you cannot get the mortar straight off the bat, but you wouldn't really want to start with the mortar anyways, even if you can afford it. Although a beautiful thing about End of the Road is the sheer amount of space that we can put down our supporting towers, which we do not want any pops being, well, dealt for them. So let's put down Geraldo, either up here, over here, or in the middle over here. It is honestly a lot of brilliant places to put down supporting towers. It has such a long amount of range that even a large range service engineer cannot reach the track. You know, a long range. Here we go, we're going to be placing down our beloved mortar. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, you're going to escape. Yeah, we should have put down the mortar earlier, then place you, mortar, where the lingering yellows are. Okay, so put them down over here. And for some other reason that works that time. Put you over here. Okay, that landed on that red, which was very, very necessary. Land them down on these yellows. For red balloons, A, they're slower, and B, they have less layers of them. Not a bigger threat, but then again, we've got pink balloons this round. Speedy boys. Sometimes you can be the fastest thing, but the weakest thing, but you'll get through our defenses, alright, because of how fast and how speedy of a boy you are. Or girl, it doesn't really matter. What am I saying? It doesn't even matter at all. What is most important is that you, regardless of your attributes, enjoys Balloons Tower Defense 6. Balloon Buster, we can smash our way through 3 layers of balloons at once. What's a good thing about mortars is that they do have a surprisingly large amount of pierce. So when you smash your way through a lot of balloons, okay, this is where we definitely need the submarine for support here. It's very satisfying smashing your way through several balloons at once with a single shell because of the fact that, well, this is a little bit RNG, especially if you don't go bottom path, but I prefer being able to fire more shells than fire shells more precisely. Okay, let's put down some rusty old nails because this is End of the Road. We can't exactly put the end of the stack of old nails at the very end of the road because the beginning and the end are literally in the same place. Right, we now have Smell Shock. Yes, I'm calling it that because I've been trying for a while trying to get a 2MP on Resort with just Shell Shock, but for goodness sakes, Alchemist keeps stealing too many pops because there's no good place to just dump your Alchemist and it does not steal any pops away from your mortar. Also, speaking of which, if we have the mortar far away enough from the balloons, let's say the lead ones, then you pop through one layer, and that means you're going to end up having black balloons, which is a little bit of a problem. But here, okay, so those were popped far away enough, so they were just blacks rather than greens. Not good. And yeah, no, goodness. Oh, that landed. Speaking of camos, now are some camos here. We put the submarine down, obviously, for offense and defense. When submerged, this thing does not attack any balloons, making it the perfect supporting tower for both the start and the middle and end, because it's not doing anything besides decamoufying balloons, which, if you're relying on visibility potion, can be a little bit of a hindrance, but just a little hindrance, not big enough to make a difference. With some of these rounds, you're just going to have to wing it with the submersion support here with air burst arts, but we really do need that additional damage here and now, especially when it comes to like black and zebra balloons, which we cannot pop by default. Second log camos, be decamified, please. Goodness sakes, there's so many black balloons. It's just an annoyance for this particular challenge. Nothing else, no nothing to do with any kind of dispositions that one might be thinking of. It's just for properties in which that particular balloon has. Isn't that just fun? Maybe an alchemist would be good right here and now. I do kind of want to win it and go to the big one, but we're just going to have to win it for this given point in time. Can this alchemist reach? That is a question. Yes, it can, which is lovely, which will enable us to do that little bit more damage. And it fires a bit faster as well. Extra damage, range, not really a factor with the mortar, and attack speed. Both the damage and attack speed boosts are lovely. Lovely jubbly, pop it. Oh, for goodness sakes, do not leave any black balloons or zebra balloons lingering, please. I cannot deal with them with just the mortar here, although we could compensate that by getting an MIB, but as you can tell, we don't have the money for it. And we kind of need to focus on our damage anyway, so I'll get middle path later on. Yes, we're going to get the unspeakable path. Oh, for goodness sake, submarine, please pop these zebras. Oh, there goes through that round, which is lovely. Round 39. Guess what? More black balloons. There's so many of them in the mid-game, isn't there? Feels like I'm really suffering right about now. Rainbows are easy to deal with, but if you just leave them at, well, zebras, they're not going to be much of a friend to you. I'm going to put you on first this time, and hopefully after this round, we'll be able to afford Jerry's Fire, which means we don't have to rely on this being unsubmerged anymore. Can we do it? I believe we can. Can you believe in me, please? I love some belief. And thank you for popping the zebras. Okay, so now submerge that and put some Jerry's Fire onto that, which means now hopefully we don't have to rely on the submerged submarine anymore. Jerry's Fire pops for wonderful zebras and blacks. Well, they should do anyways. And the mortar pops for purples, in which the Jerry's Fire cannot. Please be submerged. Thanks for not popping it, Jerry's Fire. What is it, too fast for you to keep track of? I don't know, the additional range might be useful for Jerry's Fire. We don't have anything else to it. But hopefully this can work out, please. Somehow that round was effortless. Oh gosh, all of these zebra balloons. I really need MIB, but I'd rather go for the big one because this recently has been changed from an explosive to a normal type attack. I think that is anyways. I don't remember the big one always being able to pop any kind of balloon, but maybe that's just me. Yeah, we don't go with burning stuff because that decreases our fire rate, which is not good for those Mara class balloons. This is it. It is time to summon, unsheath the big one. That blast radius is now really satisfying to have. It just means that we don't need to use tab as much as we would normally do. We obviously need it a lot of the time throughout the game, but we don't have to constantly rely on pressing tab, left click, press tab, left click, press tab, left click, continuously. And this is a map that is really ideal for this tower, simply because of the fact that all of the track is essentially along this one bit of road, and there's lots of arcs in it as well, so you can really utilize the explosiveness from our mortar friend here. Okay, so let's now give ourselves some camo detection, so we don't have to rely on our submerged support to constantly decamify camo balloons so that we can actually target and pop them. We can now do it by default, and because of the fact that this thing can pop any kind of balloon, we don't need the MIB as a reliance of being able to pop any kind of balloon. But at the moment, we're kind of struggling here, Stump. Oh, I feel like some of those black balloons were going to escape from the track there. Even though we have an alchemist here, I feel like our damage is still quite insufficient. So that is where we are going to first get primary mentoring. But secondly, we're going to get ourselves a glue strike so that periodically, from time to time, when the yellow glue is open for Moabs, we can do, and also balloons, we do increased damage, which is going to be really helpful per shell. So now we've got the modifiers of both the Alchemist and the Glue Strike when it comes to increasing the amount of damage per shell. Kind of handy, don't you think? What the? Excuse me? This particular cross path is excellent if you want to deal with a lot of ceramics, because sometimes they are a huge menace when it comes to particular towers which are very good against Moabs, so let's say the Mads, but are rubbish against ceramics. Well, this is a perfect counter, because not only does it have a huge amount of pierce, but it also stuns them as well, which is very, very nice to have. So what's our next agenda now? Well, going through this round at first, so what could I have done differently there? Perhaps use Glue Strike sooner, or perhaps put down a relentless glue gun over here so that we can actually let's put it nearer the beginning of the track. Yeah, over here is much better. It means we can actually affect balloons at the beginning of the track. Let's see, glue that, relentless glue that, and hopefully this should be the one this time. I hope anyway. So in the meantime, let us place down our engineer over here. Just because I don't trust you, we're placing you behind the cactus, and if you dare steal any pops, well, the cactus is going to come out and prod you. I mean, say hello. Can we do it this time around? Yes, the additional slow speed for the Moabs is very, very handy. Fortified Moabs. This is our next big challenge over here, because they can sometimes be just as tough as BFBs, especially with like how fast they travel. Sometimes it feels like they go further than BFBs do, even when you also pop all of their insides. Let's see, round 63, no issue. We didn't even need to use Glue Strike there. These arcs are perfect. It means that they have further to travel with the same distance covered. And yeah, this third wave is no problem whatsoever. Fortified Moabs, please go down. Excellent. Oh gosh, green balloon, blue balloon, something balloon, you will not escape. When it comes to knowing what towers do throughout the game, I'm not the kind of person that goes over the statistics of how much damage a particular tower does at any given point in time, and what date it would do the most amount of damage on, and what temperature is best optimal at to do the best sort of damage, or any other kind of statistics involved. It's a satisfying thing, obviously, knowing, but I prefer to just feel and learn the experience of the game itself by through actually playing the game, rather than data mining the details down and then going from there. Let's see, 0 pops. Excellent. Hope you stay that way. So when people ask, like, well, why didn't you know this sort of thing, or why didn't you know that sort of thing? I think the discovery of certain things throughout the game is brilliant upon the first time that you look at it, observe it, and then be like, I know one more thing about the game. And B, do you really think people are really equipped preemptively to know everything about a particular subject from the moment that they are born? If you answer anything else than no, then that is really, really shallow to think, honestly. I'm sorry to say that. Like, people think that because I'm a content creator, I know absolutely everything that a particular tower does. And that is just incorrect. I think even the better players learn something new about a particular game. Let's say speedrunners, for example. There's always going to be like a new exploit within a particular speedrunning community. Let's say with Call of Duty Zombies. There are so many times when a new exploit is learned within, let's say, Shadows of Evil, where it increases the amount of time decreases the amount of time that it takes to do a particular scenario by, let's say, 5 seconds. But guess what? That means you're 5 seconds closer to completing that scenario. But some of these things can only be discovered by the accidental self-discovery of that particular scenario if you're the first one to discover it. And it's not like the same vein, but in a similar vein, if you discover, let's say, that this can damage any kind of balloon for its description, sometimes it's also best to observe it at hand so that you can confirm for yourself that you can rely on this without needing Striker Jones or the MIB, so that this will be able to pop black balloons and zebra balloons. I think the act of self-discovery is far more special than just looking up something online. And I'm always very grateful for people watching my videos, but I would say I am not the only pillar of knowledge when it comes to people in the community. I would say that among content creators, I'm probably one of the least applied people when it comes to doing these sort of scenarios out of everybody. There are so many people in the community that can do far more than I can in this game. Now, one thing I like to say I like to uphold is that I am probably one of the people that enjoy this game the very most, despite the fact that I do complain here and there about certain features. But I think there's a difference between complaining for the sake of complaining, and then there's also complaining because you feel like that there is a particular thing in the game that can be improved or something that needs fixing. So for example, with the glue gunners, I from experience learn that both the glue strike / glue storm and relentless glue does not always stack together. They do in some cases, but not in all cases. So that's why I think that these need a rework so that they do need stacking together properly. Round 75 is going down very nicely, but we do need MIB because we need Call to Arms. That's the only reason why we need MIB at this given point in time. It's the gateway to Call of Arms. Did you see round 76? You saw it only very briefly because, well, this screen is excellent against huge groups of ceramics. We're getting very close to the end of the track. I feel like I need to glue that. But I know I'm going to get through round 78 anyways without a single hiccup here. Excellent! All of those ceramics were big. I don't even know where I was going from there, really. But they were all dealt with by the big one. Let's see now. BFB. Additional damage applied. Thank you very much. And I feel like the stun effect is just as important as the damage itself. Because if you have enough attack speed, you can perma-stall very tough ceramics so you can keep them in place, and then they will not be able to move a single inch once they get close enough to the center of the explosion, or just the explosion in general, really. Again, I could be talking complete rubbish and I am wrong, but I think that is also a part of self-discovery, knowing when you are wrong, and then when you are wrong, you have to own up to the fact that you are wrong, rather than always thinking that you're always right. I think that in its own way is a means of saying that you are wrong because you think you're always right. We got Call to Arms now, which means we'll be able to shoot an additional 50% faster at times. And oh gosh, should I put an epilepsy warning for this particular tower? There's lots of explosions. Come on, pop them. Oh, goodness sakes. Pop them. Pop them. Thank goodness. They were way too close to the end of the track there. But now, it is time for absolute zero chance of them to escape. We could put down a Jerry's fire, but honestly, we don't need to at this given point in time. There's just enough damage so that we don't need to rely on it, honestly. Like, we will put it down for the low 90s onwards just so that we can actually do a bit more damage. But at this given point in time, I'd rather just save my money for other things. We need that lovely slowdown. And we also need the overclock when it is up again. But I also desperately need that Call to Arms to come back, please. I should have... Oh, goodness sakes. Don't have enough. Don't have enough shells. Oh, for goodness sakes. I feel like there's a pierce cap there. Oh, for goodness sakes. That single zebra balloon. Thank you. Finally managed to at that time. What I just essentially did is A, going perishing potions, but B, just slow down the game when I need to use an ability so we can maximize the usage of each ability and maximize the amount of time that we have overclock up so that we don't have a single bare moment where our attack speed is decreased. We kind of want this to be a permanent application rather than just little bits of temporary spells where we don't have it applied. Oh, these fortifiers are getting nipped towards the end of the track. Come on, for goodness sake. Sometimes I can't get enough shells out, or my cursor is in the incorrect place, or some other weird warped logic is going on here. Keep the cursor over here, keep them focused on the fortified DFBs. Even though we had a lot of Moabs over this way, we didn't need to really focus on them because I knew we were going to do enough damage anyways against them. Let's see, call to arms. I need everything in place to stop these. Somehow we was much better on this attempt than the previous one. Oh, dearie me. Don't ask me. I don't understand this game. These Moabs are going to be absolutely no issue. In fact, we're just going to keep our cursor right here and they're not going to get past our explosive radius. Yeah, this is just so satisfying to watch. Once you've got set up, the big one is honestly a really nice tower to utilize. Let's try and hold off on getting the absolute zero as long as possible so that we can get as many pops as possible. But I feel like in some ways it's just not going to be a viable strategy. Call to arms, are you going to be enough? Nope. You're not going to be enough. I didn't want to do it, but I feel like we need the snowstorm in place ready. Always use snowstorm first before glue strike so that then you don't get the additional damage on the snowstorm ability activation. No, we're going to need something else here. Are we? Snowstorm by the end. I don't care. I need them held in place. I don't trust this game as much as I don't trust anybody that is not within a close proximity of trust to me with my car keys. And I don't have a set of car keys. Or just keys in general I do have. Snowstorm, then glue strike. We really need that absolute zero at some point. Call to arms, please do your magic. I feel like we should have had the money by now to be able to afford this. Come on! Sometimes I feel like this just does not do any damage. Well, let's see if this helps this little fiery lad. Alright, that time for some odd reason was a lot better. I think I always need to keep it in line with the toughest most balloons so that eventually I don't get stranglehold when they do make their way to the exit of the map. Good. I think Jerry's fire is doing some work here actually, which is really nice. Although we do have this huge clump of balloons now and no way to be able to slow them down effectively. I feel like I placed this relentless glue gunner too far to the left there, which means now they won't be as slow down as they could be. We might need to put down a second Moab glue over on the right hand side of the map so we can constantly have the slowdown effect. Come on, please don't allow them to get... My goodness sake, sometimes it feels like they're not being damaged, but just stayed in place. Okay, we can now afford absolute zero. Now we've got ourselves a much better chance of being able to slow them down, give ourselves as much time as necessary in order to be able to get through the scenario. And as always, when it comes to a support and absolute zero, you go top path. Only ever really get cold snaps so that DDTs can also be affected without any means of external support. Don't get too close to the exit, please. Better yet, don't get close to the exit at all. The exit is very bad for you. It enables you to not exist. But at the same time, if you stay on a track long enough, you will not exist. So in both scenarios, the balloons lose because they de-exist once they exit the map. Oh, for goodness sakes. I was really wanting to save absolute zero for round 90 for the DDTs, but I guess that's not going to be the case. Good, got through round 89 just fine. Now let's see round 90. Absolute zero. Come into play, please. And this is actually surprisingly good against the DTs, despite the fact that it looks like we payloaded them about 500 times before they finally expired. Trust me, if we were still on smell shock, they would take forever to go down. And I'm not exaggerating. Get through with fortified Moabs first, then focus your... Actually, I'm going to focus my attention on the ZMGs now since they have to come this way anyways. That's the beauty about End of the Road, is that 1%, 99%, 25%, 75%, 40%, 60% of the way through the track, they are all near enough in the same place as on the map. Pop them all, pop them all. Go down, y'all. Don't slip away for some odd reason. More DDTs. Beware DDTs. Honestly, should think about some sabos now to slow down the balloons on the track here. So that's one sabo, that's two, well, not two sabos, but you're pretty close to the sabo stage of your evolution there, Ninja. So, balloon sabo, absolute zero, glue strike. I'm starting to think nowadays that glue storm is sometimes a bit more of a detriment than an actual aid. Yes, you do apply that +2 damage for longer, but you also, in some ways, leave yourself a bit more exposed to damage from other towers which you would otherwise normally don't want to damage balloons anyways, because obviously that means that you wouldn't be able to get to your goal as much, or you'd be able to have fewer excess pops than usual. We kind of need to take our attention away from the bigger balloons so we can deal with these behemoths at the start of the track. Even if a single red balloon escapes, as you saw earlier, is a catastrophic error for us. Quarter arms, absolute zero. Do that, do that. Glue strike, sabo, everything. Everything indeed. Actually, you should have done it 0.001 seconds later, because you would have the optimal timing there. As you just saw, you allowed a ceramic to escape. How dare you? This was supposed to be the perfect guide. I want to use absolute zero, but not until when all of them are BFBs. Come on, ZMGs, divide, please. I guess you're going to be an absolute a-hole to me and not... Like, sometimes that doesn't make any sense. Like, I've kept the cursor over you ZMGs after all this time, yet some of you are more resilient than others. I swear it's always down to a Pierce thing at the end of the day. It's always down to a single balloon. I wish I built up that other bro, that ninja over there. Pop them all. I'm not taking my eyes off of you until you're all completely gone. Just watch a single red balloon escaping, though there's nothing on the field. I'd like to think that there was an invisible red... What a stupid usage of absolute zero that was. But at least that's round 94 done and dusted. That actually took me quite a long amount of time to get through, which was both annoying and surprising. Sabo. You know what? I'm going to move you over here, and then once the first most DDTs come over this way, then we will apply everything. So... that one, that one, that one, and that one. Yeah, we need as much focal point in the center of the track as possible. But... oh. Okay, activated the quarter arms. Keep that going. Use another absolute zero since some DDTs were not affected by the first one. Use another balloon sabo. Use quarter arms again. Use glue strike again. And we have this round on lockdown. No, not the 2020 lockdown, just speaking generally. Okay, round 96. We're going to apply the invisibility potion now, just so that we can do a little bit more damage towards those fortified DTs before they make their way to the submerged support. Ultimately, it doesn't matter, but I feel better doing it. So much carnage. Can you keep up with it all? I certainly can. And I'm playing the game here. This hasn't kept me for an hour. None whatsoever. No hours at all. Only minutes were used up of my life for this scenario. Well, if it was smell shock, this will take me days to try and do. And I'll do it on a different map, which has more length to it. But Resort is so dumb for hiding supporting towers away so that they don't... Excuse me? Well, it's only 24. Hot tip, freeze ZMGs over here so they don't damage them by any chance. Even though it's really risky, keep it centered over here so it can damage. Oh, need to move it over there, which means damage loss on these BFBs over here. All these things to think about. This is why only people who are mad enough to try and do this sort of stuff does this sort of stuff. What do you mean I've frozen the entire screen? Excuse me, how were you able to damage the ZMG over here initially? Again, some things I just don't understand. Just when we need support, we don't have support. If this can save us, let's use absolute zero then and there. Come on, please stop with your stupidness. Let me get through the round. Oh, let's put you... Okay. I was going to say, let's delay the round a bit more. I guess we're going to do that. But you know what? That's fine. I thought it was just a dream. I'm still here. The only upside to this particular round than, let's say, the previous rounds, that we just don't have as many balloons to try and deal with. The only downside is that fortified ZMGs are the second most healthiest set of balloons that we have in a CHIMPS run. Number one being the bed. Even if they make their way to here, I'm annoyed still. Come on, hold them all off, please. Pop them all. Thank you. Oh, you have to be silly enough to try this kind of challenge. And yes, I am self-deprecating myself. Oh, Saba, would you come back? Not even that's enough. Oh, no. Oh, I messed up the order of things. Oh, proof that Relentless Glue and Glue Strike do not stack properly. Please stop them. Please. And that's round 97. Thank you, Relentless Glue, for being another means of stunning. And I've been waiting for you to stop talking, Geraldo. I'm just kidding. You're awesome. In the bottom right-hand corner, alongside the Absolute Zero, we have ourselves a Spike Storm set up ready for round 100. Reason being, the bad. That's why. Keep the pressure on. Keep the pressure on. Keep those fortified BFBs. Keep on popping, please. Absolute Zero. But we still need the cursor over the ZMG so we can do enough damage. This is looking really tight from my perspective here. Keep on going. Keep on. Oh, we're starting to break them up now. That is lovely. There's not as many balloons on the screen to try and contest with. And we've kind of kept our cursor on the ZMG all this time, which is lovely. Keeping that damage applied. Come on. Please, round 98. Once we get for round 98, it's game, set, and match when it comes to trying to get the rest of the scenario. But for goodness, I have buggered up. I can only be angry at myself with that one because I misclicked the wrong tower there to use overclock on. Also, when you exit out of a game, sometimes the abilities can appear in a different order based on when you put that tower down onto the field. So I placed the villagers down before the glue gunner, so that's why the abilities appeared in this order. Let's see, Balloon Sabo. Come on, free Absolute Zero. I need you back. Excellent. Keep on going. Keep on going. We need to reduce the numbers so that we can actually not exceed our pierce cap. There we go, there we go. That should do it. Now this time, let us apply the overclock on the correct tower this time, please. Me? I've only got myself to blame because it's a physical activation. Wait for that to no longer be activated. So, no longer be active. But there's still a huge number of balloons on the screen to affect. Let's put our cursor over here so it affects the BFBs at the same time we're still getting through to this end of the Moabs. Oh, I don't want to do this again. Okay, keep them pinned onto the ceramics if possible. Okay, we've reduced their number significantly, but still not enough. When enough is, that is when they have been reduced to 0. Thank you very much. Oh, I forgot to put down the beloved. Okay, keep them glued. Okay, move our cursor over here. And excellent, excellent. That is round 90. Oh, I forgot to put down our beloved creepy idols now. We've only got 2 on the field. I love having 4 together. Thank you very much. Balloon salvo, freeze them. Keep yourself concentrated on those fortified DDTs. They're annoying as heck. They love to just creep past our defenses just like these ones. Just like these ones. That's just annoying. Right, second attempt. Here we go. Fortified DDTs. Escape level 100. Okay, please. Can we do it this time? Or is the game going to continue giving me stupid logic to try and apply myself to? Hopefully not. Another absolute 0 would be very beneficial. You stop giving me such a shock fact. There was barely any balloons there. That was such horse stun right there. That ceramic should have been stunned in place. Oh yes, finally getting through that round. That was just permanently stalled in place. Hold on. I wonder if I can manipulate this somehow. Let's put you over here. Oh no, Jerry's fire popped. I wanted more time so I can have my abilities back sooner. I don't even know why I did that, honestly. Okay, call to arms with the Spike Storm. And then once that's done and dusted, let us use it again. Please? Okay, let's just use it then and there, actually. Oh, no, 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 no. That was too many pops. I have a sneaky idea. Let us use Glue Strike. Then let us use Quarter Arms and Spike Storm. Then use Rejuve Potion. Another Spike Storm. And then hopefully at some point when the bat is popped. How many? Okay, that's 27k. That's 30k. That's 35k. So we've got 7k to spare, so the only thing we've got to do now is just... I pressed you once. Why on earth did you activate twice? Maybe I did click on it twice, but honestly, I don't think I did. I think I only clicked on it once, but it just happened to activate twice. Or maybe I used it when it was just with DDTs and ZMGs, so then I used it again for this for ZMGs. Yeah, this is such a good map for the Spike Storm because you literally have 2 rows of Spike Storms for the bad to deal with, so you literally have double the room in order for Spike Storm to do the damage that it needs to be done. And always activate it under Quarter Arms so you can get even more damage applied. Okay, now we just need to survive because we have the pots down and dusted. Only got these maniacs left to deal with, and that is game. Thank you ever so much, everybody, for watching. This has been the big one to Megapops. Honestly, once you got your setup done and dusted, the only real stressful part is timing your abilities right so that you can actually get through the rounds. Because honestly, with like Glue Strike, you kind of need it so you can get that additional damage done and dusted onto the balloons themselves. It's like a really important factor. I feel like I placed this too far to the left over here, so therefore that's why we need a second one of these on the field. I don't know why earlier on one of our failed attempts on a particular run, this got 20 pops or so. Like, it shouldn't have been able to do that, but for some odd reason I was able to land some shots.
Yes.
Obviously, Gerald. Oh, that was for the nails at the very start for that camo. Then obviously the rest of the balloons there. So that's why I was like, why do you get 10 pops? Because of those nails. That's why. 27,000, 31,000, 38,000. Yeah, that kind of adds all up, really. Thank you so much for watching. This has been the big one. 2 Megapops. Let me know whatever scenarios you'd like to see me do next. Like how to construct a vengeful true sun god, for example. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, everybody. This took me 1.5 hours to try and do. And some of it was down to RNG BS, like a ceramic not being stunned.